Hi everyone, it's Miss Akvari in the library. I wanted to tell you a little bit about one of our Teen Award books for the year 2021-2022. This book is called Dear Sweet Pea. It's by the author Julie Murphy, and it is in our teen and issues section. So those are the books that have a lot of real life, realistic stories in them, and that's certainly the case here. So in this book, Dear Sweet Pea, the main character's name is Patricia. Her parents call her Sweet Pea, and that's usually what she goes by with her friends and kids at school as well. And she is in a rough situation. Her family is going through a really big transition. Her parents have just gotten divorced, and their way of sharing custody and trying to keep things, I guess, as normal as possible for their daughter is for her dad to move out of the house that they've been living in her whole life, and he gets a house right down the street. So literally one house in between their two houses. And that's really hard for Sweet Pea because she feels, since she can kind of see her parents from both whichever house she's in, she doesn't really feel like she's getting much space. She kind of feels like they're trying to set up identical houses for her, and she's being pushed back and forth between the two spaces, which is really tough. So she's dealing with her parents' divorce and kind of trying to figure out how this new family system is going to work. And she's having a hard time talking to her parents about that. So that's kind of one situation. The other situation is at school. Sweet Pea is stuck with kind of her ex-friend, Kira, so things haven't gone very well for them. But they sit right next to each other in class all day, so that is very uncomfortable and very awkward. And luckily, Sweet Pea still has a good friend. His name is Oscar. She has her cat that she cares about very much, that goes with her between the two houses. And then kind of an interesting thing pops up. Her neighbor, who is much older, and writes for the local newspaper, has an advice column, asks Sweet Pea to take over her mail for her. She's going to be out of town, so she needs someone to forward on the letters that she gets from her readers so that she can write her column while she's out of town. She also needs somebody to kind of house sit and take care of her plants, and has really specific instructions for that. And so Sweet Pea agrees to do that because she knows that's what her parents would want her to do, and it kind of gets her out of the awkward situations in these two houses that she's trying to balance living between. Well, everything's going fine until Sweet Pea recognizes the handwriting on one of the envelopes that's being written to this advice column, and she kind of sticks her nose in where maybe it doesn't belong, and events start to kind of get out of her control. I loved this story because I think there's a lot that anybody can relate to about growing up, about family relationships, whether you have parents who are together or divorced or have always lived separately. It certainly talks a lot about maintaining those friendships as we get older, which can be really challenging. And I just thought it was a really great, funny, and heartwarming, and at times kind of frustrating story, which is something I really like. If you like stories about real life issues, this book, Dear Sweet Pea, would be a great book for you to read.